Welcome back to the TYSK report, where I bring you the things you should know happening in the world of technology. I got a few great articles on the docket, so let's dive into the first one. BMW's South Carolina plant is testing humanoid robot workers. Interesting. Robotics startup Figure has signed a commercial agreement with BMW to introduce its general-purpose humanoid robots to BMW's manufacturing facility in Spartanburg, South Carolina, as it tries to identify use cases in automotive production. The robots are intended to automate difficult, unsafe, and tedious manufacturing tasks, and if they're found to be viable, they'll then be deployed in the BMW facilities and stages. Single-purpose robotics have saturated the commercial market for decades, but the potential of general-purpose robotics is completely untapped, said Figure CEO Brett Adcock. Figure's robots will enable companies to increase productivity, reduce costs, and create a safer and more consistent environment. Neither company has disclosed how many of Figure's humanoid robots will be deployed at the facility or what tasks they're expected to undertake, though Adcock told Reuters that the partnership will start with small quantities that will increase if performance targets are met. The Reuters report also gives a fairly wide window for deployment to allow Figure to train the bots to perform specific tasks. It could take anywhere from 12 to 24 months for them to actually be integrated into BMW's manufacturing processes if it does identify a viable use for them. So from my perspective, this was a very forecasting article that will have a great impact on the future of automotive production. And one thing we can't forget about is those events that happened with UAW and how much it affected Ford, GM, and Stellantis. I'm sure a lot of these companies, especially BMW, were looking at those events play out last year and were thinking to themselves, hey, we don't want to go through this, so we need to start planning ahead. Also, one thing in that article to point out is these three words right here: more consistent environment. So for me, those words are yelling a environment that won't halt or stop production for anyone. So this was a wake-up call for everyone in all industries to start to think about and understand and take a mental note of this, that companies are going to start and continue to implement technology into their company's task and the roles for the company. So this could replace and possibly replace what you do. So if these companies are planning ahead, you should be doing the same. Let's move on to the next article. GM recalls dozens of electric BrightDrop vans after 2 reported fires. General Motors is recalling around 66 electric delivery vans made by its BrightDrop subsidiary after the front drive units in at least 2 of them caught fire late last year. The automaker says it's still investigating the root causes of the fire, but believes a manufacturing defect may have caused the fire. GM says in paperwork filed with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that it believes the defect was limited to its larger EV600 vehicles built between 2021 and 2022. Companies including FedEx and Walmart have taken delivery of the EV600. The recall doesn't affect BrightDrop's smaller EV400 vans. GM shipped 497 BrightDrop vans in total in 2023. This is the third recall of the BrightDrop vehicles. The EV600 was previously recalled in late 2022 after the company discovered a problem with the water seal on the van's high-voltage battery pack. It faced another recall in October when GM discovered an issue with one of the van's airbags. So maybe GM should start to focus more on the EV400s instead of those EV600s, because it looks like they've had a lot of recalls, and maybe they should just completely rebuild an entire new fleet of vehicles. But that is going to take time, and then they also have those signed agreements with FedEx and Walmart, so they have to get this fixed. So hopefully they're able to get this fixed, so then that way these companies can get things moving with these vehicles, and then also hopefully no one was hurt when those fires happen. But it looks like GM is starting off 2024 with some major hiccups, and we'll see how things play out as the year moves along. Moving on to the next article. Alphabet's Wing unveils larger drones for heavier packages. If drone delivery is going to go mainstream, it is going to need bigger aircraft that can handle more stuff. Alphabet's Wing unveiled the first in a new lineup of larger drones with more payload capacity. Wing's flagship drone is designed to handle payloads of up to 2.5 pounds. The new drone can handle up to 5 pounds without sacrificing range. The company says that it has enough battery power to complete 12 miles round trip while cruising at up to 65 miles per hour. By deploying larger drones capable of carrying more stuff, Wing says its customers can place orders for more items, making its service more useful and convenient. The new drone will be deployed in the communities where Wing operates within the next 12 months, the company says. Drone delivery companies claim that by shifting more deliveries to small electric multi-rotor aircraft, fewer polluting trucks will be needed for last-mile deliveries. So this was a very informative article, and as I said before, I wonder how much of an impact the advancement of drones is going to have on delivery services. And I do believe people are going to play a big role in how things play out, because if the people had a choice between getting it packaged within a few hours from a drone versus within a few days from a truck, the obvious choice is they're going to go with the drone. So this is some exciting news, and we'll definitely see how things play out within like the next 3 to 5 to maybe even 7 years. Let's move on to the next article. LG just opened up its first EV charger manufacturing plant in the US. LG is already one of the most prolific EV battery manufacturers in the US, but it wants to build the devices that charge them too. The company just opened its first EV charger manufacturing facility in the US, a 59,000 square foot plant in Fort Worth, Texas, capable of manufacturing 10,000 units per year. The company has already started to assemble 11 kilowatt home-style chargers there and will begin producing 175 kilowatt fast chargers in the first half of 2024. It plans to build 350 kilowatt ultra-fast chargers at some point this year, designed for commercial travel and long-distance transportation, LG wrote. LG wants to capitalize on the U.S. push to build more public EV chargers. The nation currently has 169,741 charging ports, either DC fast or level 2, across 65,113 stations, according to the Joint Office of Energy and Transportation. However, the Biden administration wants at least 500,000 public chargers by 2030. So this was some EV charging news updates. And one thing about this 2030 plan, because of all the different dynamics that go into building the infrastructure, they may have to push this out to 2035 or 2040. But then again, maybe we aren't even in the loop of what they actually have built and ready to go, and maybe they're just waiting until right before 2030 and to start implementing everything at warp speed, and we're completely entering a new environment that we've never seen before. So we'll see how things play out as the years move along. So this was another great lineup of articles, and to continue to stay updated, definitely check out these two videos right here where I talk more about other things that you should know happening in the world of technology.